What's the best gravity-fed hopper?
I'm a cybernetic organism, living tissue over a metal endoskeleton.
Over the past couple years, we've seen a lot of new gravity-fed hoppers come on the market. We've forever had these 200 round hoppers, right? Just basic 200 round hoppers. And then recently we had the Vulcan V-Light or the Proto Primo hopper that kind of feed a little bit better. So with all the new hopper options, which one's the best? So in total, I grabbed 6 hoppers. We grabbed the Empire 200 round basic hopper, the GOG multi-caliber hopper, which feeds 50 and 68 caliber, depends on how you set the thing up, the Proto Primo, the Empire splitter, the base hopper, and that Vulcan V-Light. So we're gonna go down that list, talk about all the hoppers individually, and then say how they work, like if they have that shelf in there or if they have a feature that's helping them feed a little bit more consistent. First up, the Empire Basic 200 round hopper. These things are $4 hoppers. They're just a basic 200 round hopper. You can find them everywhere. And this Empire one is not the only basic 200 round hopper out there. Vulcan make them, TIPPMANN make them. Whoever it's made by, if it's just a basic 200 round hopper, it's relatively the same as this Empire one. And then the GOG multi-caliber hopper. So the GOG multi-caliber hopper you can think of really as just a smaller version of that Empire basic 200 round hopper. But it is multi-caliber, right? So you can actually use 68 or 50 caliber. So you can see that little ring or that lip on the inside of the hopper. You can remove that and it will feed 68. Right now it is set up in 50 caliber mode. I like these multi-caliber hoppers. I think they're very clean, slick. They look really cool. They're made well. They're 100 rounds, so they're a good capacity and a great size if you're looking for a smaller hopper. And then the Proto Primo. So the Primo is really the hopper that kind of started this whole higher end, better gravity fed hopper thing. On the inside of the Primo, there's actually a shelf that helps separate the paintballs. That shelf helps reduce the pressure on the bottom balls, allowing them to move around a little bit easier and then thus feeding easier. And then the paintballs are only gonna load from the back and the front as that shelf stretches all the way across the inside, so paint can't load from the sides. The Primo is like a Primo, right? It's a very, very good hopper. It's built extremely well. Picking it up, it is leaps and bounds better than that basic 200 round hoppers. And then next up, we have the Empire splitter. So the splitter is super incognito. It looks identical to the Empire basic 200 round hopper. The splitter uses the same idea as the Primo by having that shelf on the inside to help reduce the pressure on those bottom paintballs. The shelf on the Primo though is made way, way better than the splitter one. The Primo shelf is in there, it's not moving. The splitter's a little weird. It has these attachments on the corners or the edges of that circular shelf, and it kind of moves and floats around on the inside. So it's not a rigid structure on the inside. It moves around a bit. That makes me a little bit nervous about a thing snapping off or something breaking on the inside. I haven't seen one yet, but I'm sure it's happened to someone. And then we have the Vulcan V-Light. The V-Light, unsurprisingly, also uses that shelf to help kind of feed paintballs a little bit smoother. The V-Light works very similar to the Primo, paint's only loading from the back and then can't really load from the sides. The V-Light's also made really well. It's definitely made better than all of the other regular basic 200 round hoppers or that splitter. Nowhere near Primo category yet though. And then next up, the base. The base is definitely the wackiest hopper out. I mean, it's got a Picatinny rail on it that slants down. I mean, even if you put something on there, it'd just be pointed at the ground. So I don't really know what the Picatinny rail is gonna do. Picatinny rail, definitely just for looks. I kind of like the base though, just because it's so crazy looking. It's just unique. Comes in black, gray, and tan. So the base does not use that shelf. It uses this weird design. It's got these channels to help feed paintballs and line them up so they feed more consistently, I guess. It doesn't work. So that's a brief little recap synopsis of these hoppers. Now, which one actually fed the best? So this isn't a definitive scientific study to tell you which one of these gravity fed hoppers feed the best. It's just me going out to the paintball field, shooting them all a bunch, and then putting them in order of which one I think feeds the best. So we went to the paintball field, had 3 paintball guns, a TIPPMANN 98, a CCM T2, and a Planet Eclipse ETH2. And then the goal was to try to shoot every single gun with every single hopper and different paint quantities. So we shot every single gun with every single hopper with 20 rounds, 50 rounds, 100 rounds, and then 200 rounds. And then obviously for that GOG 100 round hopper, it kind of just averaged out a score you'll see here in a second. So this chart will tell you what I think about that hopper and how well it works with the 98. So I grabbed the TIPPMANN 98, shot 20 paintballs with the basic 200 round hopper, then grabbed the GOG hopper, shot 20 paintballs, grabbed the Primo, shot 20 paintballs, and then did this throughout the whole thing, and then just ranked every single hopper on how well I thought it fed. So with the TIPPMANN 98 and the V-Light hopper at 20 paintballs, I thought that one fed the best. And then 50 paintballs, TIPPMANN 98, Proto Primo fed the best. So you can see the GOG hopper doesn't have 200 rounds, so all I did was average out the previous 3. So on the TIPPMANN 98 one, 4 is your average. And then we total them all up, and whichever one has the lowest score wins that round, we'll say. So for the TIPPMANN 98, the Proto Primo, I thought fed the best, then the Valken V-Light, then the Empire Splitter, the GOG Multi-Cal, the base, and then that Empire Basic 200 round hopper. So I didn't just do that with the 98, we also did it with the Etha 2 and the CCM, just to see if the recoil on different guns would help it feeding any different. And this is what happened with the Etha 2. So I thought the Proto Primo fed the best again, then the Valken V-Light, then the Splitter, then the GOG Multi-Cal, then the base, then the Empire Basic. And then over into the CCM T2, Primo again, then the V-Light, Splitter again, GOG Multi-Cal again, the base, and Empire 200 round. So do what you will with that. I just found out that I think the Primo feeds the most consistently on a variety of paintball guns at a variety of capacities. So if you just want the best feeding one, get a Primo. It's hard when we do it like that though, because you can say like hopper 1, 2, and 3, and maybe expect them all to be like similar in performance, but they're really not. The Proto Primo and the V-Light stood out like noticeably, like they fed considerably better than all of these other hoppers. And I think that the Primo or the V-Light are both good options. So the Primo is the best, I think it feeds the best and it's built the best, but the Valken V-Light is also another really good option. Another really good option is also the GOG Multi-Cal. Like I really like that thing. If you're looking for a 100 round hopper or something a little bit smaller, like say for a pump gun, or like maybe you got a little kid or you are a little kid and want something a little bit lighter, the GOG Multi-Cal hopper is also a really good option. So if I had to choose, if I had to put my money on it and say like best gravity fed hopper ever, Proto Primo, it's built the best and definitely feeds the best.